Okay, we're going to start on Lamed Aleph and Aleph, about 7 lines down. Rabbi Akiva Ikla leGinzik. Rabbi Akiva went to Ginzik.
Is it Lamed Dalet?
Lamed Aleph and Amud Aleph. Rabbi Akiva Ikla is Ginzik. It's like the 7th line. Yeah. Bo minei misanin l'shos, so ein misanin l'shos. Lo hava biyadei. So they asked him the following question. They said, "Can you fast for hours, or do you not fast for hours?" What does that mean? So Rashi says, a little bit shorter daf, we can learn the Rashis today, the shows. Kigon shekiba alav tanis meishesho lamala, umihi lo tam klum mitchila kol hayom. Avalo l'shem tanis niskami barishona. There's some days when I come home, and I'll come home in the middle of the day, and my wife will say, "What do you eat today?" And I'll say, "Oh, nothing." So if you come in the middle of the day and you realize you haven't eaten anything, and you didn't have in mind to fast, and now at 12:30 you say to yourself, "Well, you know what? Mincha's at 5:30. Day's over at 6 o'clock. I owe God a tanis chalom anyway. I had a bad dream. I want to take a tanis. Can I just say, okay, I'm going to fast the rest of the day. I'll be makabel the tanis now halfway through the day. Forget about, assume you don't have to daven the whole thing in mincha and erev tanis. You don't have to say whatever that paragraph is. Can I be makabel the fast in the middle of the day? Use the hours that I didn't intend to have the fast for, which I just happen to have not eaten. Use them for the rest of the day. And now when I'm makabel the fast at 12:30, so it's only going to be a 5-hour fast. I can knock off the tanis chalom I need to do. And now, Lamais, it'll work. Does that work or not? And secondly, if it does work, so then, i.e., is that chal? Now, let's say I change my mind at 3 o'clock and I get very hungry. Can I eat at 3 o'clock? I couldn't wait the rest of the day. Or, Lamais, I was makabel the fast, and now it's a fast day. That's what mitzanin l'shos means. So the Gemara says, Lo hava biyadeh. He didn't know. Second question. Kankanim shel ovdei kochavim asurin o mutarin. If you have the oil jugs, the cheres, not oil, cheres jugs of Ovdei Kochavim, are they asur mutter? Can you use the cheres jugs, the earthenware jugs of Ovdei Kochavim? Lo hava biyadei. He didn't know. B'ma shimesh Moshe kol shiva simei milum. Interesting question. This Rashi is really on the next part, but let's read the Rashi to the right. Moshe lo nishtamshu lo nishtamish b'bigdei kehuna dechsiv asisa bigdei kodesh Aaron achicha v'hu haya zaretzon. We know that Aaron was a Kohen Gadol. But Moshe Rabbeinu brought korbanos during the 7 days that they were dedicating the Mikdash. What did he wear when he was dedicating the Mishkan? He didn't wear the Big Day Kahuna, because he wasn't really a Kohen. He didn't wear the Big Day Kohen Gadol. What did he wear? Says Gemara, Lo hava biyadeh. They didn't know. Asal shal be midrasha. So they went and they asked in the base medrash. Amri, hilchas misanin l'shos. So the first halacha is that if you wake up in the middle of the day at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and you say, "Oh, I've been fasting all day," lo and behold, I only have 3 more hours of the day, I want to make this into a talis chalom, you're allowed to do that. And if you decide an hour later that you want to eat, you can eat, because you just made it into a tanis and you were makabel the tanis and it works. Vim hishlim, and the Rishonim have a problem with these words, because vim hishlim ispal al tfilas tanis means that anything you daven at that point, you have to say anenu. You have to pretend that it's a regular, treat it as a regular fast day. So the words vim hishlim makes not 100% clear, because it's not talking about the next day. It's talking about the rest of that day. You treat it as a tanis, and if at mincha you have a minyan, or at mincha you daven yourself, you say anenu, you say avinu malkeinu, whatever it is. So the Lamai said, if in the middle of the day you wake up and realize you want to accept a fast upon yourself, you can, and if you do, it's now accepted upon yourself, and you actually cannot get out of it. That's by tanis. And the halacha is that an earthenware jug of Ovdei Kochavim, even though you can't use it because of the Yayin Nesach for 12 months, after 12 months it's mutter. And Rashi says, Miyad bali tikun. If you want to use it within 12 months and you do miloi v'iroi, as we said, you put water and you leave it for 24 hours at least, and then you empty it out. Then you put water in 24 hours and empty it out. Then you put water in 24 hours and empty it out. We still do this sometimes, halacha l'maisa. What did he wear? B'chalok lavan. He wore white clothing, a white robe. Rav Kahana Masni b'chalok lavan she'ein bo imra. Yes, it was a white robe, but it was a white robe that had no imra, that had no hem to it. Why couldn't it have a hem to it? What's wrong with having a hem? Not because it wasn't in style. Stealing stuff. So Rashi says, good try, but I don't like that pshat. Look at Rashi, Moshe. Lo nishta, imra, safa. Yesh Omer, the rabbi here says, Shalo yachshedu shesamba mitrumas hamishkan. Maybe he's stealing stuff. V'lav milsa. It's not a good shot. It was a nice try, but it's not a good shot. Why? Sharei kvar nigmara malacha. Because the malacha is already done. Nobody's donating anything anymore. Uveshas avoda mehechan shakil. He's not putting the menorah inside of his hem. He's not putting the mizbeach inside the hem. There's no gold coins anymore. When he was collecting the money, we're afraid. That's why Gabbai is not supposed to have pockets, etc. So when he was collecting the money, we were choshesh, even for Moshe Rabbeinu. Fine, separate question. But over here, once the avodah is finished, once the collecting is finished, what does he need? So it's fascinating. Usually Rashi, what? He tells you something. He says, I don't like it. He says, okay, so what's the answer? Here it is. So you're talking to a Jew, like you ask him a question, he asks you another question, which only changes the topic. But it's interesting because Rashi never does this. Over here, for whatever reason, he doesn't explain why you would be a problem for Moshe Rabbeinu to have a hem. Okay? Zok the Gemara. Hachartzanim. There is a Tosfos here. Because it's going to look newer. That's what he says. Interesting. How you climb. Saying they didn't have an imra means an imra with an ayin. They didn't have climb. Okay, interesting. But the hem question, the hem shot is an interesting shot. Hachartzanim va'azagim shel ovdei kochavim aser. So if you have the grape seeds or the grape peels of an ovdei kochavim, it's going to be aser. Zok the Gemara Tan Rabbanan hachartzanim va'azagim shel ovdei kochavim lachin asurin yeveshim mutarim. If it's actually lachin, if it's wet, then it's going to be aser. And if it's yavesh, then it's going to be mutter. And if it's dry, then it'll be mutter. What does that mean? If it's wet, it's going to be aser, and if it's dry, it's going to be mutter. Shkaya, thank you. Kosher? Everything's not yayin nesach. It hasn't been poured. Hasn't been poured to avodah zarah or anything.
Second.
Thank you. Where was the first cup? Thank you. Shkaya, thank you. So if it's old, it's going to be mutter. If it's wet, it's going to be not old. Sorry. If it's dry, it's going to be mutter. If it's wet, thank you, it's going to be aser. Why? Haininu lachin, haininu yiveshin. Amar Yehuda, Amar Shmuel. Lachin kol yud beis chodesh. Wet means, even if it's not physically wet, you can't see if it's wet, for 12 months after it's pressed. Yiveshim is la'achar yud beis chodesh. And yavesh is after 12 months. Why should it make a difference if it's 12 months or not 12 months? Why should it make a difference if it's dried out, if it's wet? Because if it's dried, then what? It's not considered like the wine anymore. What's the problem with the wine? The wine is the wine. What's the problem with the pits and the seeds and the peel? Is that if you're taking yayin nesach out of it, then the entire grape becomes aser. But it sounds like after 12 months, when it dries up, l'maisa, it becomes like a new entity, and it's no longer considered to be a grape, and therefore it's going to be mutter after 12 months.
It's a raisin.
It's sort of a raisin, but a raisin they don't actually squeeze out, do they? You squeeze the entire raisin out?
If you leave a grape, it'll become a raisin, after time.
Right,
so
but
you can't.
Yeah, but when you make a grape, when you make a raisin, you don't actually squeeze out the grape, do you? You leave the grape with everything in it, no?
Yeah, you let it sit.
So this is talking about a case where you press the grape and you take out all the juices. So it might be a really, really, really dry raisin, but the point is that when you take out all the juices and now you're using those juices for avodah zarah,
right.
yeah, the question is what happens to the peel? So we're assuming that the peel, so we're saying that once 12 months passes, the peel becomes a totally different entity.
Not a raisin.
Not a raisin.
Okay.
It becomes a totally different entity. Even if it's edible. Well, it sounds like even if it is a raisin and it's edible, I don't know if raisins are edible after 12 months, but saying even if it's a raisin after 12 months, we consider it to be a totally different entity, and therefore we would not consider it to be yayin nesach. Zok the Gemara. Itmar Amar Rabba Bar Bar Chana Amar Rabbi Yochanan Kisha Ehein Asurin Afilu Bahana Kisha Ehein Mutarin Afilu Bachila. And that makes a lot of sense. When it's aser across the board. And when it's mutter across the board. That means if you're going to tell me that we're worried about yayin nesach, so then we have to be worried about yayin nesach. And if you're going to tell me that we're not worried about yayin nesach, then there's nothing to be worried about, and we're totally fine, and you can even eat it. Amar Rav Zvid. Hai durdia dechamra darame basar treitz yarcheshat shari. Similarly, the sediment of wine after 12 months is going to be allowed. Similar to that, where you take a grape and you press it, and then you don't just get pure grape juice or wine, you get pieces of the peel, pieces of the seeds, etc. So you go ahead and then you take out all the wine, and whatever's left is the sediment. So what happens to that sediment? So for 12 months, that sediment is still to be considered part of the grape. It's a fascinating thing, because you're basically saying for 12 months it's asar ba'na, and after 12 months it changes its entire being and becomes a totally new entity, which is very, very interesting. That's what the Gemara is saying. Similarly, the sediment is going to be fine after 12 months. Amar of Chaviva Brei de Rava, Hani Gulfi, the jugs, the kankanim, is what we had on top. Basar Tracy Archishata Shari. We're staying consistent in saying after 12 months, the jugs are going to be mutter. Amarav Chaviva. He says, Hani afta, the aftas of tai, the tai, basar Tracy Archishata Shari. The aftas, these are the, Rashi says, Chemas Meor Av, the thick leather canteens of the Holchei Drachin. What's the Chiddush? Nosin olam oso mala yayin lemerachok v'have kimachniso lekiyam. It's like they're putting them in for storage. U'mishumachi ba yishiyah yud beis chodesh. You need it. It's like really like they're leaving in there. I guess the wine's very strong. They're leaving in there. It's very thick leather. They're leaving them in there for a long time. L'maisa, therefore, from whenever they take all the wine out, 12 months later, you'd be able to use it. Amar Rav Acha Brei de Ravika. Honey portsani darami basa tresa yarchi shasa shari. The portsani. What's the portsani? Again, that's the psola shalanavim. That's the residue. That's what's left. That's also going to be okay after 12 months. Amar Rav Acha Brei de Rava. Honey gulfei shchime ve'uchimai or ve'uchmi. These red and black jugs. Basar tresa yarchi shasa shari. What's the chiddush at a red and black jug? Why should red and black be different than any other color? This is the source of checkers. Why should red and black be different than any other color? Because if it's red and black, so that means that it was used excessively. If it was used excessively, then one might think that we're going to be more machmer in it. It was used so much that the color of the actual jug changed to different colors. It was discolored from overuse. You might think if it's used so much for yayin nesach, it might be usher to ever use it again. So the Gemara, even if it's been used excessively, after 12 months, it's still, we assume that the taste is gone, and you can go ahead and you can use it. Okay. I don't think I've ever had black coffee before. The hamorius. And the morius, what's the morius? So we said the morius is like this this fish. It's not fish. It's the oil and the fat. Doesn't sound too healthy. It's like the fat that you pull out from the fish. And the way you do it, as we'll see in Rashi, is you put oil and melach and salt, and you put it in, and it pulls out the fat, and then you actually eat that fat. And you can do it numerous times to the fish, where you pull out the fat and the oil, you pull out the fat, and then you serve the fish fat. I don't know what it's called today. It's not like fish jelly. It's just fish fat. Schmaltz. Well, not the actual herring, just the schmaltz.
It's called schmaltz herring because the fish itself is schmaltz. Nothing
Right.
Produces.
Right. It doesn't know if that's
the brine.
talking about the brine, the actual fat from the thing. The hamborius, Taner Amanan, morius uman is mutter. The morius of an uman is mutter. Now, what's an uman? It's literally a professional morius maker. It's like a professional maker of morius. Why should it make a difference? So we'll see. Look at Rashi. Morius uman. Shel ove kochavim. Uman mutter. Why? Morius lo avdi midagim tameim umishum chamer kasvinalei. We're not worried by morius. When you buy morius, we know that it's not made from, for whatever reason, logistically, similar to, like we say, butter. Butter is not made. Butter is always from, the reason that people who keep Chalav Yisrael still eat butter is because you can't make butter out of non-cow's milk. That's why in certain places, like I went to Ner Yisrael, they only have Chalav Yisrael, but the butter that they serve is not Chalav Yisrael, it's a heter. There are other people that have heterim for powdered milk. You can't make powdered milk out of non-cow's milk either. Most people are not necessarily makel for that. That's why some people who are desperate can keep Chalav Yisrael and eat Dunkin' Donuts and eat Entenmann's, because supposedly Dunkin' Donuts and Entenmann's are made out of powdered milk. I almost used that heter 2 weeks ago in Florida when I passed by the Krispy Kreme factory in North Miami Beach, and they were actually making the donuts there, and everybody else was eating the donuts. There's a kosher Krispy Kreme factory in North Miami Beach, and I almost used that heter, but my wife was with me, so I didn't. L'mais, at the end of the day, some people are makel for the powdered milk. So similar over here, you can't make the morius out of, sounds like you can't make it, or they didn't make it out of non-kosher fish. So how did they make it? What was the problem then? They were worried that they mixed in yayin nesach with it. I did enough shumnayu, and the uman would not mix in. A regular guy who makes it in his house, so he'll mix in a little bit of wine to make it taste a little bit better. An uman will not mix in wine because, leave it there. Let's see. Says the Gemara, Murius uman mutter. We're not worried he's going to mix in wine. We'll get back to that Rashi. Rabbi Yehuda ben Gamliel, Rabbi Shimon ben Chanina ben Gamliel, af chilek uman mutter. Also, the chilek of a professional fisherman is mutter. Let's see what the uman is, the morius is, and then we'll discuss the chilek. Tani avimi brei de ravavo morius uman mutter hu tani lav hu amarla. He explained it. Pa'am rishon v'sheni mutter shlishi aser. The first 2 times that he puts the salt and the water and makes and takes out the fat of the fish, then it's mutter when it's being done by a professional. Again, a guy being done at home, he can never eat the morius by Nove Kochavim. First 2 times that a morius uman does it, a non-Jewish uman, it's okay. Shlishi aser, the 3rd time he does it is aser. So you have to know if it's the 1st or 2nd time. My timer, Param Rishon V'Sheni, seemingly they sold it based on what number of morius it was, what number it was from the time that they salted it. My time, Param Rishon V'Sheni, denaf is shumnayu lo tzarech lemir me'bu chamra. Mikan ve'elach ramu behu chamra. The first 2 times there's so much fat that comes out from the melach and the water that he won't even bother using chamra because it'll ruin the taste. After the first 2 times, it's going to actually help the taste, which is interesting. I mean, then you're starting to get into discussion of trusting him. Is it the first 2 times, etc. But it sounds like he doesn't want to put his, right? That's why it's an uman. He doesn't want to put his job on the line. He's going to be honest, and when he sells it, he's going to say, this is the first 2 of the things, and he doesn't want to take any chances. So now we can go back to Rashi. Uman lo rami bechamra by the top line of the Gemara. Can mefarshu azal aidi denafish shumnayu pam rishon v'sheni makalkel lehu chamra. Actually, the first 2 times, since there's so much fat, it's not just that he doesn't need the wine's going to ruin the fat because the fat is so good and geshmak. You put a little bit of wine in, it's going to ruin the taste. After the first 2 times, where you're not getting so much fat, then lemaisa, if you put in wine, it'll help the taste a little bit. So the first 2 times, skip down to the next Rashi. Pam rishon v'sheni shekein darka nos nemayinu melach al shuman hadagim umotsatzos shomno ukeshakalos chozer v'nosen achem. Like I told you, they take it out with melach and the mayim, and then at the end of the day, again, after he does that the first 2 times, so the first 2 times you can assume he didn't put any wine into it, and you can eat it. After the first 2 times, you have to be choshesh that he added yayin nesach. What's the chilek? What's the chilek of numan that you're allowed to eat? Back up Rashi. Chilek min dagim tahorim. We'll call it for our purposes herring, but it's not really herring. But it's a type of small dog that was tahor. Visultanishman. We call it sardines. Visultanishman can refer to pirkin. And what's interesting is uvikadnuso ein lo snapir vekaskeses. V'aseh legad delachadman. You know you can only eat fish with fins and scales. This one actually doesn't grow the fins and scales until it gets older. Seems like we're eating it even before it gets older, but we know that if we would let it get older, then it would grow fins and scales. Therefore, it's kosher, but right now it doesn't have fins and scales, and you could still eat it. What's the problem with eating this? Why does it have to be from an uman? Why? Same problem with the salad. You're eating salad, and when you eat salad, what's in the salad? There are bugs. What happens when you eat these sardines? How do they catch the sardines? With a big net. What happens when they catch the sardines? And not just catching the kosher ones. What's also included in it? The non-kosher ones. An uman, a professional, is going to know and going to make sure to take out all the non-kosher ones because it affects the taste. A regular person who catches a net, he's just going to say, here's some sardines. He's not going to take out the non-kosher ones. Umibnei ma'asura, says Rashi. Mibnei she'irvuna ola ima dagim tmeim domin lava olinima. There are non-kosher sardines that look exactly the same, and they put them together. We know that the kosher meat, the kosher fish tastes better. So the regular guy who catches it is not going to be so makbid. He doesn't know how. He's not going to be so makbid. He takes out the sardines, and he's not going to remove the non-kosher sardines. He doesn't know how to, and again, he doesn't care as much about the taste. It's not worth it for him. The uman who's selling it professionally needs to make sure that the sardines are kosher sardines because they taste much better. He's going to make sure to pull out all of the non-kosher ones, and he knows how to pull out the non-kosher ones, and therefore you can trust him, and you can go ahead. Again, why are you trusting him? Not because we always trust them, because the Maisa, he doesn't want to put his business on the line, and if people start finding out that he's putting in, they start tasting it, it doesn't taste geschmack, they know that he's not using the real meat in the cholent, they know that he took out the real meat and he started putting in the other stuff. So the same thing over here, if they know that he starts putting in the tamei stuff, the non-kosher dagim, he's going to get caught, and therefore, if it's from an uman, you could eat the chilak that he has. Zok the Gemara. Hahu arba de morisa de asi linemila de Akko. There was a ship carrying Morris that came to the port of Akko. Also Rabbi Abba de Minako niture bada. So Rabbi Abba of Akko put guards outside to make sure that nobody mixes in yayin esech with the morisa. Means maybe he was worried that, again, it came 75% ready, and they were bringing it to Eretz Yisrael. And Eretz Yisrael, they had, the company had Ovdei Chachamim who are waiting there with some wine, and they were going to pour in wine to finish the 25% of each of these pounds of Maurice. So it's going to be 25% wine and 75% kosher Maurice, and that's going to be a problem. Says Gemara, Amalei Rava, I don't understand. It came from a non-kosher place. It came from a place of Ovdei Chachamim. It's been on the ship for the last 3 months. Now, if you start guarding it, it's going to be okay. How do you know that they didn't mix in wine when they actually package it? How do you know that on the ship they didn't spend the last 3 months mixing in wine with all the moris? Says the Gemara, Amrle adha inna limanechosha. There's nothing to be worried about, because where it came from, imishum da ma'arve bechamra, kista de moris beluma, kista de chamra bedalumi. Fascinating. The place that it came from, a kista, which Rashi says is a shem mida, beluma, bezuza, to the left, a little bit down. B'midinaso shal ovdei kochavim zeha yayin nimkar beyoker v'amoris bezol. Yayin sold for $4 a pound, and moris sold for $1 a pound. So we're not choshesh that they're going to mix wine, which costs $4 a pound, into moris to taste it a little bit better when you can just use the fish stuff and it only costs $1 a pound. Avalkan hain yayin bezolu moris beyoker v'chashin en le'aruve. In Jewish places we have more wine than moris. In non-Jewish places they have more moris than wine. So now what are we worried about? Maybe they had a plan that what they can do is they're going to send all the moris to Eretz Yisrael. When it gets here, they'll spend a few weeks using the wine, which is cheaper in Israel than the moris. So this way we only have to send 75% that we really need of the moris, and the 25% we'll get the wine when it comes to Israel, and we'll mix it in Israel in the factory before we sell it. So he says if we guard it here in Israel, we know that it hasn't yet been mixed with any wine because it wasn't worth it for them. Says the Gemara, fascinating Gemara. Amar lei, so he says to him, Amar lei, Rabbi Yirmiyah, Rabbi Zera, Dilma aide ditzor asu deshavi chamra. Maybe they stopped on the way. You're right, where it came from, yayin was more expensive, so they wouldn't have bothered. Maybe they stopped in Sur on the way to Israel. Sur, we know that yayin is very cheap. They would have stopped at Sur and then reloaded there for a few days and done all that they need to do and then bring it here. Says the Gemara, they couldn't have stopped in Sur. Amalei hasam ikule upshure ika. No, on the route that they were taking, there are whirlpools and there are glaciers if you want to stop at Sur. Therefore, logistically, it was impossible to stop at Sur on the way. They must have not been able to stop based on what we know of the traveling, and therefore, Lamaisa, we don't have to be choshesh that they actually stopped. Fascinating. Okay, I just talked to my kid yesterday about the Titanic. So, how did they know that? It's interesting. Well, Lamaisa, that's what they knew that was a Metzias. Once you know that they couldn't have stopped, and you know that where they came from, it wasn't worth it for them to mix in Chamra. As long as you guard it now when it gets to Eretz Yisrael, it will be okay. Talk to Gemara. Ugvinas base oniki. The gvina, the cheese of this place, is going to be aser. What did we say the reason that cheese is aser? Even if you know it's from a kosher animal, because we're afraid that they're mixing it with the rennet of a animal that was used for avodah zara. Now, again, today we take rennet and put it into the milk. Back then it sounds like they actually took the milk and poured it into the stomach. That's what it sounds like from Rashi, that they would literally take a stomach out of an animal, put it on the table, pour the milk in, and then it would it would become cheese in the actual stomach of the animal. Today we use vegetable rennet also. We use all different types of derivations, very interestingly. So the gvinas beisuniki was aser. Amar Rashbal, mipnei ma asur gvinas uniki. Why were they aser? Mipnei sherov agalim shel osair nishchatin lavodas kochavim. Because most of the agalim in that year were brought for avodas kochavim. Therefore, you have to assume that the stomach that they were using it to make. Because what are we being presented with here? We're being presented with this cup, not of coffee, this cup of cheese. So somebody just brought me a cup of cheese from outside, right? He brought me the cup of cheese, or he brought me the plate of cheese. So I have to figure out where it came from. So I know it came from Oniki, and I have to assume that since most of the agalim in that year are brought for avodah zara, I have to assume even though an egel is kosher, and again, it's not basar b'chalav, right? People ask, how's it not basar? It's not basar b'chalav if you have even though the milk comes from the cow, and this is basar, it's not basar. The same reason we get meat and cheese from a cow. We don't have dairy cows, even though we have dairy cows. There aren't dairy cows where we get milk and meat cows where we get meat. It all comes from the same place. So over here we have to be choshesh that they used the stomach of an animal that had been brought for ovdei kochavim. Says Gemara, Ma'ir Yerova Galim Afilu Miyut Nami Deharabi Meir Chayish L'Miyuta. So they asked Reish Lakish, why does it have to be that most of the animals in this place, most of the agalim, again, they use the agalim, they use specifically the things from the agalim. Why did it have to be that most of the agalim were brought for avodah zara? Even if a miyut of the agalim were brought for avodah zara, it would still be a problem because we know that Rabbi Meir is choshesh for miyut. Where is Rabbi Meir choshesh for miyut? So Rashi tells us, Sharov Gagal, this is where I said, Ma'amidin es achalav bikei basan. They mamid it with their rennet. Now, I'm not sure that actually means you have to say that they put it in the stomach. You could say that they actually took the rennet, but it sounds like they're putting it in the stomach. Rabbi Meir is chayish l'miyuta in yevamos. Katan uktana. What happens if there's a katan who's married? So katan is married and the husband dies. So we don't do chalitz or yibam. Why? Katan shema yimtza sris. If the brother-in-law is a katan, we don't do it because he may be found to not be able to have children. Therefore, we're not going to do it because the whole point of him marrying this girl, his sister-in-law, so that he could have children. And if the actual girl is a ketana, shema timsa ailanis. She got married as a ketana, but now if we're going to have her marry the brother-in-law, she may be found to be an ailanis. So we're choshesh for the miyut that they may not be able to have kids, and therefore we're not going to have them do this mitzvah of yibam. So according to Remeir, where we're choshesh for the miyut, who cares? Again, you have all these animals, as we'll see in a second. You have 1,000 animals in this place called Beis Uniki. 900 of them are not agalim, and therefore 900 of them we're assuming are kosher behemas, and you can use the rennet of those behemas. 100 of them are agalim. Agalim are the only things that are used for avodah zarah. As long as what? We said that the reason it's aser is because rove of the agalim, rove of those 100 are used for avodah zarah every year. Only like 20 of them are not used for avodah zarah. So we have to assume that this cheese, which is on my plate that he just brought into here, was used by one of those 80 cows, one of those 80 agalim. The rennet was one of those 80. So 80 out of 1,000 total, but one of those 80 is what was used in order to be mamid this cheese, to make this cheese. So he says, I understand. Why does it have to be a rove? Let's say only 20 of the agalim were used, and 80 of them are not used. And we know that 20, so 20 out of those 100 are used. According to Remeir, it should still be choshesh. Maybe it was one of those 20. We're always choshesh even for the miyut. Why did it have to be that 80 of them, that rove of the agalim are used for avodah zarah? Even if miyut of the agalim were used for avodah zarah, it should be a problem. So listen to what he says. Very fascinating. Ma yuri rove agalim filu miyut nami. Remeir chashish lemiyut. No. Iyamart rove ika miyut. If it's a rove, then it's a miyut. What does that mean? If most of the cows in that, most of the agalim, the calves in that place are used for avodah zarah, what now? Now you have one miyut. That means you have a piece of cheese here. Most of the cows are used for avodah zarah, most of those agalim. Therefore, within the rove, within the entire thing of cows, you have basically behemas, 900 behemas, and then you have 100 agalim. The rove of the agalim are used for avodah zarah, so that whole category of agalim becomes what? Avodah zarah. Now, within the entire behemas of the city, the agalim are a miyut. We're choshesh for the miyut within the entire city. We're choshesh for those 100 which become a unit. We're choshesh that it's one of those 100. Because again, the agalim, even though there's 100 of them and only 80 of them are used for avodah zarah, once 80 of them are used, we assume that all of them are part of a unit of avodah zarah. Within the entire city, those 100 which are a miyut, we're going to be choshesh for those 100. What happens if it's only 20 of the cows? I'll say it outside, then I'll read it inside. Let's say it's only 20 of the agalim. What do you have now? Within the agalim themselves, only a miyut are used for avodah zarah. Now when you take that entire thing, so now you talk about those agalim being non-avodah zarah agalim, quote unquote, even though there are a miyut of avodah zarah one. So Rabbi Meir would be choshesh for the miyut within the agalim itself. But now that you throw that into the mix of having 900 other behemoths which are not used for avodah zarah, what do you have? A miyut of a miyut. And for a miyut of a miyut, you're not choshesh. Now, I had a problem with this, which I struggled with a little bit, and I just left it as a question. I don't understand why we're looking at it as a miyut and then a miyut. Why aren't we just looking at it that lamaisa, when I look at all 1,000, there are 20 of them that are for avodah zarah, and we should be choshesh for that miyut. It sounds like the Gemara is doing is first we're looking at the agalim themselves. If a rove of the agalim are used for avodah zarah, then you have agalim that are for avodah zarah, and you could assume that every egel is for avodah zarah. Now, when you put it into the big mix, it's still a miyut of the big mix, but for miyut, we're going to be choshesh. But if you say that only 20 of the 100 are used for avodah zarah, now all of a sudden the agalim themselves we assume are not used for avodah zarah. And even if you say I'm choshesh for miyut, that's only when there's one miyut. Now there's a miyut within the agalim. Now there's also the agalim themselves are a miyut within the other 900 behemoths in the city. A miyut of a miyut, we're not going to be choshesh. That's why it's dafka, the rove. It's only if rove of the agalim. The reason that we're choshesh for the cheese in that place is because rove of the agalim in that place are used for avodah zarah. Therefore, we're going to be choshesh that even though it ends up 80 out of 1,000, we're going to be choshesh for those 80 out of 1,000. Rove of the agalim, and then the miyut, i.e. agalim in general, we're going to be choshesh for. But if the miyut themselves of agalim, then the agalim are sort of like canceled out, and then within the greater large, you're going to be canceled out. And if only 20 out of the 100 agalim are used for avodah zarah, it's going to be canceled, and then you could in fact eat the cheese of a place like that. That's what the Gemara says. So iyamart rove ika miyut. If you say that rove of the agalim in this place, 80 of them are used for avodah zarah, then we have a miyut. Then you have a miyut within the larger amount of the 1,000 animals, and we have to be choshesh for the miyut. Ela iyamard miyut. If you say that they're a miyut, that only 20 of them are used for avodah zara, kevan deikar rova galim de'edish chatin lavodas kochavim. The other 80 are not shachted for avodas kochavim. Vika nami shar be'emos. The other 900 de'edish chatin lavodas kochavim. Havile miyuta de lo chayish Rabbi Meir. That's the pshat. Amar le Rabbi Shimon bar Yokim l'reish lakish. Kiddush chatin lavodas kochavim may have. V'ha'atu deshari. Who cares if it's shechted for avodas kochavim? Now, obviously, that doesn't mean that you actually shechted the behemoth for avodas kochavim. What does it mean? So let's see what the Gemara says. The Idmar. Hashochet es habehema lizrok dama leavodas kochavim lahaktir chelba leavodas kochavim. We know that if they go out and they shecht, and we said the other day that stam shchita we assume is for avodas kochavim. That means when they're actually shechting the behema, they're saying l'shem yichud kucha brichu or whatever they're saying l'shem yichud the avodah zara. This is for avodah zara. Boom, and then they shecht it wherever they shecht it. But let's say we know that they're not having intent when they shecht it for avodah zara, but they have intent that the next step after they shecht it will be for avodah zara. It means the shechit itself could be for avodah zara, or they want to just use part of the animal afterwards for avodah zara. That's a very different thing. So let's say we know that they're going to use it and they're going to take the dam and they're going to throw it on the idol for avodah zara, or they're going to throw the fats and burn them for avodah zara. Is that animal usher? That means that they shechted an animal not l'shem avodah zara. If they shechted l'shem avodah zara, nothing to talk about. They shech the animal not l'shem avodah zara, but we know that they're doing it with the intent to go ahead, or they tell you they're doing it with the intent to go ahead and take the dam or the chaylev and burn it to avodah zara. Can we use the rest of the animal? It means the rest of the animal is not usher ba'ana if you say that it wasn't shechted l'shem avodah zara. Whatever they do with the dam afterwards is fine. That's their problem. But we should be able to use the rest of the thing. How do we know what they're going to do with the dam? Even if we know, l'maisa, maybe we should be able to use the rest of the animal. So there's a machlokes. Rabbi Yochanan amar asura kesavar mechashrim ne'avoda la'avoda v'yafinon chutz mitnim. We care from one avoda to the next, and we care that even though we're one step removed and they're going to use the dam, it's still a problem. And we learn this from chutz mipnim, which means we learn it by the ovdei avodah zara from pnim, from what happens inside of the Beis Hamikdash, as we'll see in a second. For Rashbal amar muteres. What's that? Pshat says Rashi. Rabbi Yochanan amar Rashi chashochet es habehema. Shelo shacha to the left, habehema l'shem avodas kochavim shehiav ovda b'shchita elachasha b'shchita al menat lizrok. Rabbi Yochanan amar aser kesavar mechash me'avoda la'avoda the yafinan chutz mipnim, as we'll see in a second. And l'reish lakish lo yafinan. Why? Dipnim hu da'amarach mana hashochet al menat lizrok as adam pigol. What do we say? What do we mean pnim? What does that mean by Jews? By Jews, we know that if you shech something, and even by the shchita, you have in mind. If you have in mind for the shchita to actually eat it after the time, or to throw the dam after the time, that's pigul. Even though the shechita itself, there's nothing wrong with the shechita, you're planning on doing one of the avodas with this shechted animal after the right time. Burning it after the right time, eating it after the right time. Actually, the shechita itself, once you do that shechita with that intention to do an avoda later, be'isser, it's going to be a problem. V'avagav de lo zarak, even if you don't end up actually throwing the dam, if you throw the dam for sure. Even if you don't end up throwing the dam, by the time that you did the shechita, you have intention to throw the dam at the wrong time, it's going to be a problem. Reish Lakish says, yes, that's by Jews. But by non-Jews, when they go ahead and do the shechita not l'shem avodah zara, and it's only that they have an intention to throw the dam from avodah zara, that's not going to make it pigul. There's no such thing as pigul. The other opinion, Rabbi Yochanan says no. Just like by Jews, when you shecht it, not l'shem, the wrong thing, but you have in mind that the next avodah will be wrong, so too over here. Even though they're not shechting you l'shem avodah zara, since they have intention to throw it l'shem avodah zara, it's going to be a problem. Says the Gemara, Amar lei, Tarmir nacha shascha. You're attacking me, but you don't understand what I'm talking about. Your time has run out. Be'omer be'gemar zvicha hu uvda. You're attacking me because you think that I hold that it's aser. No. When I said it's aser, you heard in my name, quote unquote, that it's aser. What does that mean? Rashi, shechashav ala shchita atzma lavodas kochavim, va'amar belibo bezvicha zu uvda lavodas kochavim, uvaha modina demitzer dezvicha havi avoda chashuva kizrika. No, when you heard that I hold that it's aser, that's when you actually have intent, when you're shechting the animal, l'shem yichud my avoda zara. If you shecht it with that in mind, then it's going to be a problem. But Heinach Hanami says, Reish Lakish, I hold that if you shecht it with the intention not for avoda zara, just thinking that later on you're going to bring the dam or you're going to burn the chaylev, the fat, for avoda zara, it's not actually going to be a problem. So do a few more lines. Zok the Gemara, Amar Yehuda Shal Rabbi Yishmael, Amar Rav Ach Divoy Amar Rav Hamikadesh Beperesh Shor Haniskal Mikudeshes. Fascinating. Somebody goes ahead and is Mekadesh his wife with the waist of a Shor Haniskal, so they are Mikudeshes. Now clearly if she says yes, so she has serious issues. But if you go over to your wife and say, will you marry me? And instead of giving her a ring, you give her the waste, the dung of a shor haniska, which is about to be killed, and she says yes, you are mikudeshes. Now, I'm not sure what you're going to give her for your first anniversary, but that's what you're giving her, and mikudeshes. What? You give her the animal. Beperesh, no, the animal's going to be dead. It's a shor haniska. Beperesh egle avodas kochavim. Oh, you give her the dead animal, but you can't get hana from the dead animal. Beperesh egle avodas kochavim ena mikudeshes. Obviously, again, when the Gemara gives these examples, it gives those examples so that when you go home and you say this is such a ridiculous example, you're actually going to remember the case and you're going to remember the halacha. That's why it does it. So it says at the Gemara that if you use the peresh, the waste of an egle avodas kochavim ena mikudeshes. So it's fascinating. Both of them are aser bahana. And yet, for some reason, you can be mikudeshes with the dung. Why? Iba yisei masvar, iba yisei makra. That's, well, yeah. That's hana. Iba yisei masvara. God, what?
There has to be hanicha, no? She has to.
Okay, so she'll wear gloves, whatever. I know she's going to wear it as a ring. Iba yisei masvara. Gabe egla avodas kochavim. But the Gemara is so fascinating. Nechale benafche. He wants the waste or the fat. Fascinating. Think about this a second. You have this animal. It's about, right, this animal which is a shore that's for Ovdei Kochavim, right? You have this Egle Ovdei Kochavim, so now you have the waste. So if I look at that, if I freeze it right before both of them are going to be killed, right? This one's going to be killed for Avodas Kochavim, and this one's going to be killed because it's Shor Niska. Both of them are Asr Bahana now. The question is, if I freeze it right now at this moment, and I say, do you want the waste in the animal or not? You say, what do you mean? Ridiculous. No. If you ask the guy who's about to serve it to Avodah Zara, we know, for instance, I know it doesn't happen to anybody here. After you eat a meal, if you ever look at yourself in the mirror, you're going to look a little bit chubby, right? Because the meal is all in there. If you ever want to feel good about yourself, look at yourself in the mirror right after you go to the bathroom. Because then it's like, okay, you're nice and skinny, right? You lost 2-3 pounds. So it's the same thing by an animal. The animal, before it goes to the bathroom and has the waste, it looks nice and chubby. Therefore, if you're about to bring an animal for Avodah Zara, you prefer for the waste to be there in the animal because it makes the animal look nicer. It takes up a little bit more volume. It looks nice and chubbier to bring it to the Avodah Zara. If I ask the guy who has a shor and niskal, do you care about the waste inside the animal, outside? I couldn't care less. Who cares? So specifically by the case of the Avodah Zara animal, where I dafka like the waste, I like it having it. Okay, I don't need it outside the body, but I dafka like it, that's going to be asar ba'ana. But in a case where I don't care about the waste, that's not going to be, once it comes out, it's not going to be considered part of the animal, which is going to make it asar ba'ana, and I can therefore use it for the woman. That's what it says. Nafche means like the volume, like the fatness. Rashi. Nechale benafche, sheyehe nira shamein. That you want it to look fat, so that I bring it. The guy who's about to bring it wants it to look fat. It looks better for the avodas kochavim. If you bring a little lean animal which just went to the bathroom, now it doesn't look so fat. It's not so gishmak. Lo nechale benafli, but by the shor niskal hilchach lo chasher pirsha lemechal avisur. He doesn't care about the waste. Therefore, once the waste comes out, it's not aser ba'ana. It's considered to be a separate entity, and lemaisa you can use it to be mekadesh isha. That's the iba yisema svara. Iba yisema kra. Ksiv hacha. What does it say by the shore, which is avodas kochavim? Lo yidbach biyadcha meuma. You can't touch any of it, which includes even the dung, even the waste. Uchsiv hasan by the shor niska, which is about to get killed because it killed another person. Sako yisakel ashor velo yeacheles bisaro, which we learn aser bana. But dafka lo yeacheles bisaro. Bisaro aser, which means that the bisaro you can't eat, you can't get any hana from, which is what you want to get hana from. However, hapirsho muteres. Its pirsho is actually going to be mutter. It's a new sugya over here, so we'll pick up here tomorrow.